You might think Starbucks competitors are other coffee chains. Well, you're wrong. It's the movie theaters. Well, let us explain. Starbucks net revenue reached $26.58 billion in just 2022 alone, reflecting an increase over the previous year's total of $24.61 billion. These are huge numbers for a company that primarily sells fancy coffees to people. Or is there more to Starbucks than just coffee? Well, that's what we discuss in this video today, so make sure to watch the video till the end to learn a lot more about how Starbucks made millions of dollars in the ghetto. When it comes to coffee, there are several ways for you to prepare it. Some like their coffee black, while others prefer some sugar and cream. But irrespective of how you like your coffee, when you talk about coffee, Starbucks would be the very first name that would come to your mind, and most of them really love it. But the markup on Starbucks coffee is quite astronomical because a quick Google search will reveal that a 12-ounce bag of Starbucks coffee beans cost $15. That's more than double the price for a similar bag of beans from other brands. It's not just the beans that are overpriced. A cup of Starbucks coffee starts at $5, while a cup of coffee from a local cafe might just cost you only $2. In the developing countries, the story is no different. Sometimes they even have to pay more than what people typically pay in the US. Even then, why are people continuing to buy Starbucks coffee despite its huge price tag? What makes Starbucks coffee so good? Does it have to do with the beans that they use, or the way that they roast them, or the water that they use to brew the coffee? Well, nobody knows what it is, but one thing is for sure, it's not just coffee. Despite being one of the better tasting, richer, smoother, and more flavorful coffee out there, there's more to Starbucks than just their coffee. To understand this, you need to know about the history of Starbucks. The company was founded in 1971 in the city of Seattle, USA, and changed how the world drinks coffee outside home and work. Back on September 7, 1982, when Howard Schultz began working at the first Starbucks store in Seattle, at the time, he was the company's marketing officer. He then made a business trip to Milan and Verona, which convinced him that a coffee shop had to sell more than whole beans and ground coffee to be really successful. But his bosses simply wouldn't listen to him. That's when he launched his own company, Il Giornale, the same company which then, in 1987, ended up acquiring Starbucks, and Schultz became the CEO of Starbucks Coffee Company, and the rest is history. Global expansion of Starbucks has been rapid and strategic. It opened its first international store in Tokyo in 1996 and entered the UK in 1998, and opened its first Latin American store in Mexico City in 2002. The footprint of the brand has only grown bigger ever since then, with more than 35,000 stores in 84 different countries as of 2022. The company is expected to maintain a strong growth momentum moving forward. Traditionally, businesses are supposed to offer a good product at a competitive price, and it was just enough for the business to flourish. But this approach has become archaic, and it doesn't work anymore today because the world we live in has an abundance when it comes to services and products, and it has become a marginal part of purchase decisions. The new world that we live in is all about small to medium businesses trying to offer discounts and cashback coupons, while successful companies simply don't talk about money anymore. They're all about experiences, and maybe that's the reason why Starbucks performed really well. So the driving factor today to purchase a particular product has to do with all the feelings and emotions associated with the product. For some, it cannot be expressed in words, and for others, it's just triggered unconsciously. This means that the most important element when it comes to buying a product is how the product makes the customer feel. We live in a world where the customer's experience has become more important than the product itself, and companies that totally ignore this fact will be left behind. The best example for selling emotions rather than just a coffee has to be none other than Starbucks itself, as this is one of the most successful companies out there in the world, with its success that does not limit to its coffee shop business. It's so successful because they were able to provide people an experience that changed how much the world thought about coffee shops and how many of us drink coffee outside our homes. Now let's look at Starbucks' secret recipe for its success and why it is successful even in developing countries despite the high prices Starbucks commands for its beverages. First of all, it's the brand Starbucks that people recognize from their favorite movies, TV shows, or even on social media. When you hear the name Starbucks, you might think of an upscale coffee bar with light wood, glass, and chrome interiors, and you're also greeted with an inviting aroma of brewed coffee. This is a true heaven for all the coffee lovers out there. Starbucks was able to create a third space between home and work where people can just relax and enjoy a cup of coffee by offering an inviting ambiance, which just adds to the overall experience. The interiors also add to the overall aesthetics of the space where customers feel comfortable. Starbucks stores often mix upholstered chairs and sofas with hard-backed chairs around tables, and they also offer free electricity and Wi-Fi to their customers so they can just plug in their laptop and get their work done right there. This is an incredible journey for a company that started out as a premium coffee roaster, and they stayed true to their roots by serving nothing but excellent coffee. At least that's what they make you believe. So you get the idea. Starbucks is more than just a place that sells coffee. But how far does Starbucks go to make sure that their customers get the best experience possible? Well, Starbucks also asks their employees to avoid wearing strong perfumes that might interfere with the coffee aroma, and nearly all Starbucks around the world are banned smoking indoors. This is for the preservation of coffee-centric atmosphere, which is also the reason why they abandoned their short-lived breakfast sandwiches, because the smell might overpower the coffee aroma. So why are companies like Starbucks investing in experience rather than the product itself? To be honest, most products and services that we have today are of similar quality. So the only way to differentiate these products and services would be by redefining our expectations and the experiences the company has to offer. So the competitive advantage of products and functionality no longer play an important role in the purchase decision. Most customers also prefer to do business with companies that offer a quality experience over companies that might have the best product out there or with a new innovative technology. Apple is a very good example for this one because their products might not be the best out there as their competitors offer better hardware and software. But Apple was successful in creating an ecosystem of products that just works really well, which improves the overall experience. So just like Starbucks, even Apple is selling a brand that embodies a delicate mix of dreams and aspirations, and a set of products that work together really well. So the Starbucks coffee experience can be summed up in just a few words. A great coffee in an extremely comfortable surrounding, served by a welcoming staff and produced by a company that really cares about you getting the best experience by having a third place between your work and home, which is the reason why Starbucks has become a household name. But even huge Starbucks fans still have a problem with the pricing. For most people, coffee is essential and they cannot live without it. Most people are not happy about the fact that they have to pay a lot of money for a coffee at a coffee shop where the cost price of the beverages are extremely low elsewhere and the price simply doesn't justify what's being offered to you as a customer. This also raises another question as to why Starbucks is famous in developing countries. Well, people consider Starbucks to be a status symbol. In most developing countries, Starbucks is perceived as a premium luxury cafe that serves expensive coffee, and people think that it's worth the experience. Not everyone can afford to eat at a premium place. For most people in a developing country, Starbucks would be the most affordable, luxurious experience one can have. On top of that, humans have a tendency to value things that are priced a lot higher, as they subconsciously tend to believe that the more money spent, the better the product will be. Starbucks is now reaping its reward for all the effort that the company has put into building its brand and ethos, as it paid off big time. With more than 35,000 stores over 84 countries, the company is surely making a statement, as their competitor, Costa, the world's second largest coffee chain, only has 4,000 shops worldwide. So clearly, there's no true competitor for Starbucks. And like we mentioned during the beginning of this video, Starbucks' true competitor would be a movie theater and not a coffee shop. That's it for this video. Do you think there could be an active volcano on Mars? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.